Afternoon from the Dog Kennel Hill. This is the East Dulwich Sainsburys car park where they filmed the football match. Back in the day, this used to be a football pitch that the Sainsburys stores team used to play on Sunday league matches. Long since gone. They've obviously cemented it over and built a superstore here on the site. And East Dulwich football ground is just right ahead of me in the direction here. So I'm standing right where the goal was, the goal where you see Chalky's getting pinned down by 2 or 3 of the women. If you look ahead, and there's a little gap between buildings on the dog kennel estate, that's about there, that's a view that you get. That's when they are saying 21 to us, 22 to us, just right there. Now, also as well, this is the scene where you see the goal where Jack's standing there kissing one of the women team. And she says, "Oh, excuse me," and the ball comes towards him and she kicks it into the net, which he doesn't really care about. Also around about here as well, because this is in the goal when Stan comes up and he's complaining about them holding the goalkeeper down and says that's cheating. And you see the captain of the Basildon Bashers amongst the others, they pin Stan down and they pull his shots off. And she holds them up triumphantly. You can just see through the trees here, you can just see there's flats in the background that are seen. Now, if you're thinking, oh, well, how do you know where all this was? Beyond this line of trees, there's flats that were there in 1973. So it's just a matter of getting an overhead shot, seeing where all the flats were, and then corresponding that with elements that you see of the flats in the background in the screen grabs. So that's how we know that the goal was right round here. There is a shot as well, when you get a shot looking back down the whole length of the pitch. It's when there's another attack and Chalky's in the goals, and it looks right down the pitch. Now obviously you can't see a football pitch here, it's a Sainsburys. But in that shot it's quite interesting because you might remember, if you watch that scene again, you'll see a coach park there, obviously to bring the extras and the crew and all that, and then behind that there's an Eastern National double-decker bus. If you want to watch that again, you'll see it's very interesting. So a walk round down towards, which would have been more in towards nearing the halfway line, which is just inside the Sainsburys. It's where they've got a Starbucks coffee shop, and that would have been the actual halfway line, where you see Stan and Jack kicking off the match. And I'll take you a walk round to the back of this site here, which unfortunately has changed so much. I was hoping to try and get some shots of the other goal, which is around towards the back of the Sainsburys. But I'll just walk you here and I'll show you some interesting things here, which wasn't, I don't think it was here the last time I visited to take photographs. There's like a nature ramble just ahead of us. It takes us down the side of the Sainsburys and it affords you a view of the flats that just stood behind which was the dressing rooms. So I'll take you down there just now, then I'll take you on and walk round the path to the rear of the Sainsburys site. So as you can see, there's pretty well nice certain this wasn't here when I visited maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. It's like being made into a nature walk. I mean, I was down here earlier on, and I can see a squirrel in front of me. I was down here earlier on, I bought a hat to protect me from the sun, and a bird very kindly christened it for me. But walk down in this direction, you can see what I mean by how it looks like it's been turned into some sort of a nature reserve. All of these trees wouldn't have been here in 1973. The flats that you see up and around in this direction are the ones that you can see in the background of the episode, which you can see through the trees there. That's how we can pinpoint exactly where the football pitch was. So carry on down here, down to the flats that were right behind the dressing rooms. Of course the dressing room's no longer there, but you'll get an idea for exactly whereabouts things were. You can see what I mean by being made into like a nature ramble, because you can see up amongst the trees, I don't know if you can see them or not, there's like bird boxes. Might be for squirrels too, because I have seen 1 or 2 squirrels in here. So just taken round to exactly where the dressing rooms would have been. Where you see a fence in front of me between the line of trees, that would have been the perimeter of the football pitch. Just beyond that would have been the touchline. So the dressing rooms would have been around about here. Obviously through the trees there's the side wall of the Sainsburys. How do we know it's here? Because there you see the block of flats that are to the rear of the dressing rooms. So the dressing rooms ran at an angle, and this is the flats that you see that run adjacent, about a 4-storey block of flats. So that's it right there. And you know as well, because there is a shot when you see Olive, she wanders off in the wrong direction onto the pitch. And you see these in the background. You also see the flats adjacent through the trees. Again, they're masked by a lot of trees there, but they are up there, I can tell you that much. So if you follow this path around here, this takes us to the rear of the Sainsburys site. You do get shots when Olive's wanders up and she's speaking to the goalpost. And Chalky, played by Jules Walter, says, "You're talking to the goalpost, love." Obviously you've got a lot of bushes here and all of that now, so it really negates me being able to take any photographs here of any like for likes here, unfortunately. I do have a selfie stick that gives me elevated views, but there is a row of flats that go across in that direction that you do see in the background when Olive, when she's cheering after she thinks she scored a goal, but it's only an own goal. It's over the tops of these trees here, which have grown a heck of a lot over the years as well, which is a shame. The goal would have been the other goal that I'm talking about, where Olive's talking to the goalpost, would have been about 20 metres in that direction, right inside the back of the Sainsburys. But you do see this back lot in the background with flats and everything in the background. If I take you around here, you will see that those row of houses do actually exist. You're best putting the episode on and watching it again, and you will get an idea of what I'm talking about here. There you can see the row of houses there, just through the trees there. So walk in further in this direction, and you can see them up ahead. You do actually see them in the episode, but there you go. That is where there's a row of houses that you see in the background. You do see them from a long distance view when Blakey is actually, taking off Stan, and he gives him a yellow card. Well, a public warning he calls it. And you do see those row of houses in the background again. But that was all that was filmed in this on the East Dulwich Sainsburys car park and Sainsburys site itself in 1973. So thank you for watching this video.